coffin to bring it inside in the church. Once inside, they will open, and all the bones will be placed in a reliquary. That's this reliquary. That will be placed under the tomb, under the statue. So you'll see this, you'll see the statue. You won't see the reliquary, but it's kept here under. So that was, in 1923, all the relics of Therese. 2 years after, 1925, she was made a saint. And from the moment she was a saint, some other churches were built for Therese, and some of her relics were sent to different churches all over the world. You have in the Philippines some relics of St. Therese. So now in the tomb we have the biggest part of the remains, but not everything, of course. So before going to the church, you can here, be careful, you have a little step. This is the door of the first cell Therese lived in the convent. You know, religious people take vows. You have 3 vows: obedience, chastity, and poverty. And the vow of poverty means nothing belongs to me. So it's the same as far as the cells are concerned. A nun won't stay all her life in the same cell. And Therese, during the 9 years she lived in the convent, she will have 3 different cells. In the showcases here, everything that is kept in the showcases were things used in the convent in Therese's time. Once again, because of the vow of poverty, I can tell you they were Therese's personal belongings. Maybe she used this or this. Some things we are sure she used, something we don't know. We are sure she used this habit. This was a Carmelite habit of Therese. And this was the wooden shoes she was using, because for clothes and things you would wear, the nuns would not write their names, because writing the name would mean that's mine. But they would have a little sign to recognize what they were using personally. And the little sign of Therese was a little reed. So these were the wooden shoes the nuns would use when they were going in the garden, keeping the rope shoes they were having. That's the reason why the wooden shoes are so big, because they keep the rope shoes inside. And so that's the typical Carmelite habit. The brown, yes, with the wool, yes, heavy wool. So a long brown dress, a brown scapula, the leather belt. When you see a monk in brown with a rope, that's a Franciscan. When there is a leather belt, that's a Carmelite. The white coat, the white mantle, is not to keep warm. That's a liturgical vestment the Carmelite nuns wear when they go to the church for the Mass and for the daily prayers. And the black veil the nun receives the day she takes her final vows. Before this, she wears a white veil, the white veil of the novice. So this Carmelite habit was one of the ones used by Therese. All the objects you see here are referring to the 19th century, of course, to the life of the nuns in the 19th century. It was very important for the nuns who live in the convent today to add the 4 screens you see here with images of their daily life today, so that people would not think that to be a nun means to eat with a wooden spoon as they used to in the 19th century. So the life is different from the 19th century, but the rule is the same. The rule remains exactly the same. I told you about the door of the first cell of Therese. On the wall here behind you, you see the last cell she lived in. It remains intact, but it is inside, and that's closer, so we can go. So I will now take you to the church when you're ready. You go to the church. Please, be silent. That's for personal silent prayer. You'll see the tomb, and above the tomb, you will see the authentic statue there was in the bedroom of Therese when she was cured by the smile of the Blessed Mother. In the house of Liseux, the statue you saw was a copy. When Céline entered the convent, you remember, she brought the camera and she also brought the statue of the Blessed Mother. So the authentic statue of the Blessed Mother is above the tomb.
They use for
So
farming.
I will show you where the tomb is. So you choose, you can stay here, you can go to the church, it's up to you. I will go outside the church because we're not allowed to speak inside. If you have questions, I invite you to meet me outside, okay?
But you can take pictures.
You're allowed to take pictures.
No flash? No flash?
Oh, yes, I forgot. So here you have two of the miracles, because at that time, the church needed 4 miracles, 2 for their foundation and 2 for canonization. Nowadays, the church takes only 1 miracle for each. So, among the 2 miracles for the beatification, you have the cure of this priest who was at the seminary at that time, and it was in 1906. He was dying of TB. He went on the tomb of St.Therese in the town cemetery, and he was cured. And then you see the photograph when he's older and when he was a priest. And for the canonization, among the 2 miracles, one is, you see the lady on the right side here, that's a young girl from Belgium who was dying. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she could not eat anymore. That was in 1923, after the beatification. She was very, very sick. She was taken here in Liseux, and she was staying at the house we have for pilgrims, just next door. She was taken to the tomb of Therese. She stayed here a couple of times. She went back to the house for pilgrims. She was hungry. When she could not eat anymore, she became hungry. She said that she felt something change in her body. She went back to Belgium, and the doctor said, "You're cured." And some years later, she became a Carmelite nun. And that was one of the miracles officially recognized for the canonization. So I'll take you to the church, and as soon as you're ready, we go back to the bus, we go to the Basilica, to see the Basilica, and we try to say Mass earlier.